Good afternoon, everybody. You got Shawn McDonald here, and I'm the current chair and one of the founding members of the IRN, Indigenous Resource Network. And today we're joined here with Derek with FPAC, and we're in the beautiful city of Brussels here in Belgium. So Derek, tell me a little bit about what we're out here to do and what we're representing here, Derek.
Yeah, so we have an opportunity to meet with some decision makers here in the EU to ensure that they recognize the sustainable forestry practices that are happening back home in Canada, and the growing leadership role and management role that Indigenous peoples have when it comes to forestry in Canada. It's something that I think sets us up pretty uniquely globally in terms of the leadership, the ownership, the business ventures that we're seeing Indigenous peoples undertake in Canada, and just a great chance to kind of spread that message beyond Canada's borders today here in the EU.
No, for sure. And I want to thank you again, Derek, for inviting the IRN, on your behalf there, to support. Like I'll say with all the associations that I belong with, I support any industry, any company, any government who supports the Indigenous people and our economic power that we have in the communities that we have, right? So lots have changed over the years in my 30 years of business, and it's good to see now with, sorry, we got some noise going on here. It's good to see that with the implementation of the federal loan program, the provincial loan program, we can actually now become owners of projects, right? Not just workers and business owners.
Well, it's the economic piece, which is really important, but also I think of the social impacts that that's going to have on communities and the vibrancy of communities, and the opportunity to provide opportunity close to home, to support families. And then I also think about the environmental benefits in terms of our ecosystems and carbon emissions reduction and just all of the other great things that, so for me, the loan program is going to be huge to support Indigenous peoples and communities in terms of unleashing that potential. But it's not only economic, it's also social opportunity and environmental opportunity as well.
For sure. Exactly. And can we carry on here, Derek?
Yeah, sure. For sure.
What do you see, what the UN has proposed, if that does happen to go through, what kind of effect is that going to have on not only the forestry industry of Canada, but on the Indigenous people as well?
Yeah, so we were talking about earlier today how, and I think there's a bit of education we're trying to do here in the EU to talk about, about almost 10% of the wood supply in Canada is now directly managed by Indigenous peoples. That doesn't count the 1,400 plus Indigenous owned forestry businesses. That doesn't include the MOUs and joint ventures that Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples have struck across the country. So, I think the risk here is if the EU doesn't understand that, some of the export opportunities here could be diminished, and then that means the economic, social, environmental benefits back home for both Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples and communities is at risk. So, a bit of an education mission I think we're on here this week to tell a bit about Canada's story, and Indigenous leadership is a big part of that in forestry.
No, exactly, and I'll make the point across too, Derek. Whatever affects any industry in Canada that supports Indigenous workers, businesses, and ownership affects us directly, right? So definitely we're a strong proponent, and on your side as IRN with FPAC, to support you in any way we can, because it does directly affect our members and our peoples of Canada. So
and we're on a journey here, right? Like we've come a long way. We've got a lot more work to do. So it's not about resting on our laurels. It is about that continuous improvement. And I think for you and me, the last couple of days, it's a chance to get to know each other a bit better, which is important. And anyway, it's just a pleasure and a privilege to be here advocating for Canadian workers and businesses and Indigenous peoples and businesses that are, counting on the forest sector to deliver for them and their families.
Right. No, I thank you for that. And what for tonight now, we both know where we're going tonight and what we're representing. So what's going to be going on tonight, in the meeting we're going to have tonight?
Yeah, so the ambassador to the EU is, they normally have a little Canada Day party a few days before Canada Day. So it's an opportunity to kind of gather with some fellow Canadians and a number of decision makers here in the EU to kind of mix and mingle a little bit, get to know each other a little bit better, talk about a lot of shared priorities. And I think beyond the regulation that we're here to talk about this week, Europe and Canada share a lot of, I think, opportunities and a lot of values, right? So I think talking about some of those environmental goals that we share in common, human rights goals that we share in common, I think everybody on affordability, inflation, it's no different here as we've heard the last couple of days. So I think a lot of common problems and so maybe hopefully joint solutions we can work on as trading partners and friends.
No, exactly. And I really, again, I want to thank you again for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of IRN and Indigenous people of Canada. Lots of people, even the ones we met today, they do not know about Indigenous people and what we went through, the atrocities, the genocide and all of that. So I'm hoping it's kind of an eye-opener for them.
Yeah.
After what I said today and that, and education as well, right?
Well, and an opportunity to speak in your own voice and allow the voice of different people to have a platform, right?
Yes.
I think I'm proud to take the platform on behalf of the Canadian forest sector. That includes our workers. I know if our partners from Unifor and Steelworkers were here, they'd have some very strong things to say as well. Hope we can maybe get them here soon, another time, to talk directly on behalf of our unionized workers across the country. But no, it's a pleasure to have you here, and what a actually beautiful day.
Is it ever? Right? Yeah, we're taking the sights now, but thank you for this little interview, Derek, and again, thank you so much for the support with IRN, and looking forward to doing more stuff together in the future.
Thanks, Shawn.
Thank you, Derek.
So much.
Thank you all very much. Tune in next time to IRN. Take care.
Hi, I'm Derek Nighbor, President and CEO of Forest Products Association of Canada, and FPAC is a proud supporter of the Indigenous Resource Network.